Welcome to Stronger Weekly. I'm your host, Jesse Carajat. This week on the show, our health and fitness headlines include CDC's new guidelines around COVID vaccines, a Senate hearing this week around the safety of AI chatbots for children, and the American College of Sports Medicine releases its annual top 10 fitness trends. We'll cover all of those, plus others. On the second half of the show, Jeff Sutherland, my friend, aka Midlife Fit Club, a very, very influential fitness figure in the world, joins the show to talk about health, fitness, aging well, and everything in between. You don't want to miss it. Let's go. All right, folks, welcome to Stronger Weekly. Thanks for being here. I'm your host, Jesse Carajat. We've got some great headlines to talk through this week. And as I mentioned in the intro, Jeff Sutherland, Midlife Fit Club, is coming back to the show. He's our first repeat guest, just catching up with him, talking fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, his future plans, and all the things. It's always a very motivating and encouraging and insightful conversation with Jeff. So certainly hang on towards the back end of the show and we'll have a deep dive with him. But as always, we're going to jump right into it. Let's get to our top 5 health and fitness headlines of the week. Big changes could be coming around how COVID shots are recommended in the U.S. CNN reporting, amongst other outlets, that CDC vaccine advisors met this past week and voted to move away from blanket recommendations and toward shared clinical decision-making between patient and provider, meaning people who want a COVID vaccine will need to consult with a healthcare provider first. The committee, split 6-6 with a tiebreaker from the committee chair, voted that a prescription should not be mandated. So experts warn the move may decrease COVID vaccine uptake and could reduce access depending on insurance and even provider willingness. So the bottom line, fewer automatic shots and recommendations from the government, more individualized conversations. And for you, this means your next COVID dose will depend more on a conversation between you and your doctor. More news from Capitol Hill this week. So in a moving Senate hearing, parents delivered searing testimony about the risks of AI chatbots, including ChatGPT for children. NBC News reports several families, parents specifically, described how their children had been encouraged towards self-harm and even suicide by chatbot responses. They called on lawmakers to stop treating children as, quote, experiments and to force transparency about how these AI bots are trained and, more importantly, monitored. Lawmakers are now considering stricter rules on consent, data use, and age-based restrictions. New regulations could be coming that will strictly prohibit and govern the way these chat AI bots interact with not just children, but everybody. And as a parent, I caution, please, please, please monitor your children's use of this technology. If you haven't seen or heard the testimony, strongly encourage you to look it up. It is moving and disturbing, and hopefully good comes from those Senate hearings. On lighter news, this week, the American College of Sports Medicine released its annual Top 10 Fitness Trends report for 2025. They survey thousands of organizations, people across the country, and they use data to try to pinpoint what are the fitness trends of the year. So rounding out the top 5, number 1 for 2025, wearable technology, which is also number 1 in 2024. So these are fitness trackers, smartwatches, HR monitors, check. So all the above for myself. I use them all. Number 2, high intensity interval training or HIIT. Number 3, strength training with free weights specifically. Number 4, functional fitness, especially with older adults. And number 5, body weight training rounds out the top 5. So simple, accessible, and effective. The rest of the list features things like health coaching, mobile apps, programs toward aging populations, and some other ones on that list. So wearable technology, HIIT, strength training, functional fitness, and body weight training, the top 5 fitness trends of 2025. New national health news around kissing bugs. So a USA Today investigation shows that kissing bugs, which are an insect, spread Chagas disease, and they're becoming more common across the southern U.S. At least 300,000 people in the U.S. are estimated to already be living with Chagas, and climate change is allowing the insects to expand their range more northward in the country. Researchers have found kissing bugs in 27 states and multiple new counties over the last decade. Early infections of Chagas often goes unnoticed, but chronic disease can cause life-threatening heart problems years later. Public health experts warn that surveillance and testing aren't keeping up with the spread of Chagas. For you, that means if you live in or travel through affected states, awareness and prevention are critical. So know what these insects look like and ask your doctor about testing if any unusual symptoms arise. So kissing bugs on the rise. So, your final health and fitness headline of the week: the New York Times, amongst other outlets, is reporting that President Trump and his administration want to enforce involuntary civic commitment laws for severe drug use and mental health disorders. And his executive order this summer directs the Attorney General and HHS Secretary RFK Jr. to support enforcement. So, under these laws, a judge who, if convinced by medical affidavits, can order that a person be committed to 90 days of in-house residential treatment, whether or not they consent. So these laws already exist in 34 states and DC, but are rarely used or enforced. If backed by federal support, they could be applied much more aggressively. Supporters say this could get people off the streets quickly so that they avoid harm to both themselves and others, while critics say it tramples civil liberties and won't work without more funding, more treatment beds, which are already scarce. So the bigger picture: this hasn't passed new legislation yet, but Trump's directive could supercharge enforcement of existing state laws. So some more laws coming that could see people committed without their direct consent. Look, 1 in 10 Americans today struggle with alcohol use disorder, and I was one of them. Did you know that there is a safe, science-backed daily pill that you can take to drink less or even quit alcohol for good? It's called naltrexone, a doctor-prescribed medication that you get online, and our sponsor, Or Health, is the nation's leading provider of naltrexone. To date, Or Health has helped over 35,000 people find freedom from alcohol, and I'm proudly one of them. To get started, text STRENGTH to 710-710. Again, that's STRENGTH to 710-710, and get started on your journey to finally find freedom from alcohol. Let's do it. All right, everybody, I am here with Jeff Sutherland from Midlife Fit Club. What's up, Jeff? Long time no see.
Jesse, I appreciate it, man. It's an honor to be here again, and thank you.
Yeah, man, it's love having you. You are the first guest in 2 years, or should I put it this way? You are the first time I'm having a guest back on the
Oh,
show to run
woo!
it back. So you've got that honor, my friend.
Right
So
on.
cool. Well, thanks for being here. So I've got your
Yeah.
YouTube channel up over here to my
Oh,
right,
oh, cool.
and I happen to notice you've been on YouTube for less than 2 years,
Yeah, yep,
and you have over 10 million views on
yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, wow. I didn't
You
know how
didn't
many
you
views.
didn't know
I knew the
that?
subscribers was like 50 something, but I didn't know the views.
So you're
Yeah,
crushing
cool.
it, but
Right
I
on.
noticed 2 of your most popular videos. One had to do with, as you put it, quote, "flipping the switch at
Yeah,
51." So you're 53 years young, right, Jeff?
53, yeah, 54 in February.
God bless you, shaming 20-year-olds with your physique. But anyways, your other one of your other most popular videos had to do more of like a Q&A. So that to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
that first one, right? So flipping the switch, how did you make the change from going, as you put it, out of shape to shredded, right? But like the question is
Yeah,
a why. So like what happened for you in your
yeah.
early 50s, 51, that made you be like, okay, I'm flipping the switch?
There's not a lot of guys that are fit around my age, and but they can be if they wanna be. But I think as we've talked about before, it was the it started with the drinking thing. I was just at a point where I was just sick and tired. So at 51, that's when I realized I'm just done. I'd been drinking for years and years, and you know, since I was in high school, really, and through my 40s, it was just, a lot of partying and with my wife and going out to dinner and just drinking. It was becoming our identity, really. And we both just got kind of like, what are we doing? This is just stupid. but I never really thought I'd be able to get out of that phase of drinking, like, it was kind of just something we did together. So that was really the beginning, but really the main thing was I found God. That was
Amen.
the main thing, and I didn't really talk about it at the beginning. There is some posts early on where I do talk about it, where I talk about the Holy Spirit literally came into my life and, um, it was tangible. I felt it. It was like there's just this feeling that came into me. It's just it was incredible, and, it was just time to change, and now looking back, it's just so empowering to do something that most dudes aren't doing, and so I guess I just wanted to prove to myself that, just feeling everything, being completely sober, I just needed to prove to myself that I could do it. And now I look back on it and I just think it's a badass thing to do.
So with you, essentially like earning a living online and being online all the time, I wanted to ask you, like, how has that impacted you in how long have you been doing this, Jeff? 2 years now?
Over 2 years now.
Over 2 years? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
can you notice a difference between maybe, like, your head and heart health, like how you felt 2 years ago versus now?
yeah.
How's it
And
changed you?
yeah, so this business has been 2 years. As far as making content, it's really I've been doing it since, like, Instagram was there, just to let everyone know that, I am a content creator. It's kind of what I've always done, but through I've been an art director for, a lot of surf companies and in that world, graphic design. So the content creation of what I do is what I love. I love to do this. But yeah, so the fitness came, you know, in just over 2 years with this particular business and content creator, and how it's been a grind harder than I've ever worked in my life. And it's amazing when people reach out to me, about they ask me, "What do I do for a living?" And it's like, "Well, do you really wanna know?" I mean, if you wanna work 24/7, go be a content creator if you're trying to make a living at it. I mean, it's a constant grind. I do it all myself with thank God I have my wife, but she helps me too. It's our only source of income right now. She recently just lost her job, so I mean, putting that post out about God last night, it was kind of you know, I'm just giving it all to God on this one, man, because uh, it is our only source of income, and there's a lot of people that when you talk about God get uncomfortable and they just click unfollow and potentially loss of business but that's part of being a follower of Jesus, man, and that's what
Amen.
I've learned, and it's kind of been slightly I'm so new at it that it is still kind of uncomfortable for me, but it's a tough world out there, and you're right, uh, I see it more because I'm in this world.
Public figure.
Yeah, I guess so. I never think of myself this way. I'm a really humble guy. That's what's a trip about all this because I get a comment all the time. It's like, "Do you own shirts and stuff like this?" But if they really knew me, I, I, I'm always wearing a shirt.
Well, you are right now. Thank you for
I am
that.
right now. But it kind of became my brand, and it's kind of like I said to you yesterday. It's like it's my business card. I'm in my 50s, and I feel comfortable not wearing a shirt. So I want to show that you know if you put in the work, you could not wear your shirt too. Plus, I live
Yeah.
in Southern California. It's sunny.
Look, man, look, you
Always
what
sunny here.
you're trying to advise people on how to get fit, and, like,
Yeah,
T-shirts can hide a lot, so, like, you just showing, like,
yeah,
"Hey, not only do I talk the talk, I'm walking the walk," I think it's totally appropriate, so you keep the shirt
yeah,
off, dude. You go for it.
yeah, yeah.
I wanna hit on another one of those popular, videos that you have. So, you are shredded, and you know that. So,
Yeah,
so you did a video, and I thought it was great. You essentially asked a lot of your own audience member and followers you answered their questions. Like there was a Q and A. What are your most common questions? So I guess I'll just throw it over to you, Jeff. What are some of the most common questions that you get on a
oh,
regular basis on how
yeah,
to live like you and look like you? And then if you could just kind of give your best answer to some of those questions. I took some notes on the questions, but like
oh,
what are
yeah.
like the top 5 questions that you get all the time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, number one question is, well, there's a couple. What do I eat, and do I do TRT or steroids or peptides or anything like that? That's probably the number one question. I don't think people believe that you can be in good shape without being on TRT at my age, and, the answer is no, I don't. I When I first started working out, I never even thought twice. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what it was. I just didn't think. I just knew, "Oh, dude, I just gotta go work out and eat healthy," you know?
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I did, and I just stick to that, and that's still what I do. So that's probably number 1, and then number 2 is, the food I eat. What do you eat to stay lean year round like that? My wife and I, we made it a lifestyle, we eat at home now. Like I said earlier, we used to go out to bars, now we eat at home, and that's our new lifestyle, and we enjoy spending time together, so
So
that's
pretty well rounded on the carbs, fats, and proteins.
pretty.
Like,
I
yep.
definitely I could probably pick up on carbs, and actually I have been. I've been adding, like, potatoes, like starchy potatoes to my diet a few times a week. Uh, but I would say definitely lean on protein. More than anything, that's the other question, like, how many grams of protein do you try to get a day? And it's like, I'm 170 pounds, so that's what I shoot for, 170 grams of protein. But I think I try to get more. I'll try to get more if I can. As far as the science behind it, I just go off my gut and everything on everything I do. But I know number 1 is, I do wanna stay lean and feeling good, and so that's why I just focus on protein.
Love it. One of the questions in that exact video, I think someone asked, like, "What is your workout routine?" I think you said 3 individual, like, body part focus and then a whole body. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I guess it's a 4-day-a-week split, I'll call it. It always hits full body. So I say, like, I do, like, leg, shoulders in 1 day. It's just what I've always done. And I still do it to this day. So on Mondays, that's what I do, shoulders and legs. But then I add full body because in a lot of my workouts, I'll swing the kettlebell, and to me, that's really kind of a full body workout because you're getting grip strength, forearms, really arms, your posterior, your whole posterior chain, your lower back, your core. I really attribute my core strength to the kettlebell swing too. But so yeah, so Monday, then Tuesday I focus on arms, full body. Wednesdays, it's chest back, full body, and then Thursday I rest, and then Friday I do a fun full body, like, kettlebell workout, normally a lot of single bell workouts, maybe double kettlebell stuff. I try to have fun with the Friday workout, and I structured it that way too because you get it done, get those 3 days done early in the week, take a rest Thursday, then it's Friday, you have fun with that workout, and then you're done. I just rest on the weekends, although I'll swing my mace bell a lot. I'll still do push-ups, and I'll, maybe try to beat my record of, I think it's 18, or I think I got 18 pull-ups as my in a row straight, really strict pull-ups. I'm shooting for 20, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'll do stuff like that on the weekends, but, not
Mhm.
crazy full workouts or anything.
Were you just because a lot of people get so fixated on having, like, a really strict structure, and every single workout has to be, like, methodical and building on
Mm,
the previous one. On those weekend ones where you just kinda wanna, it sounds like, move a little bit and do something,
mm.
do you just go out there and just do whatever you feel like doing?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I like
Yeah, and I'll
that.
practice a kettlebell, like, I'll practice on doing, like, really clean cleans, if you know what I mean, like, as
Yeah.
clean as possible, have it just really float in there really nice, and, because a lot of those times you'll come up for a clean and it's not as good as you want, but the next one will be better, so you're always just trying to make it a little better.
Yeah,
One
Jeff,
thing I
give
wanna
me
say before I
yeah, go.
forget is
Go ahead.
walking. I walk 7 days a week with my wife. That is, like, key, especially for my mind when I am feeling down. I mean, and also fitness in general when I'm feeling down. Get outside and, move your body, and that
Love it.
helps every time.
I love that. When you walk, do you guys have, like, a scheduled time every day? Is it morning,
Yeah,
afternoon, or is it just
every
whenever?
day, later afternoon, between 2 and 3. So I would say a lot of times we'll get out and walk. It's when we kinda got through all our work, and then we'll kinda unwind with a walk.
But is that, like, the only specific thing that you do outside of the workouts themselves with the kettles and everything?
Yeah, yeah, I would say. Yeah, that's really more intentional cardio 'cause I call it brisk walk. We hit it pretty hard, really intentionally,
Mhm.
walk pretty hard. But, man, I would say, like, with the kettlebells, though, endurance and I would say athleticism is what you'll kinda get with those, and so I do feel I mean, out of all the exercises I do, that's the one that gets my heart really pumping, and sometimes I have to sit down for a minute after and, get my electrolytes in and just
Yeah.
take a quick break.
But maybe just
Yeah,
maybe last question, maybe
yeah,
one other follow-up on fitness before we move on, but if
okay.
someone wants to introduce kettlebells into their regular routine, not necessarily changing it to be like yours, but if they've got a pair of kettlebells and they're staring at it and like, "I don't even know what to do with that." And, like, let's just say at the end of a strength training session, give us, like, a walk through what can they do? What can they do for both that, the cardio benefit, but also everything else you mentioned, athleticism, mobility, and even strength?
I mean, I would just go right for the swing. That just seems like the most logical approach. But yeah, kettlebell swing, double kettlebell swing. I love doing a little swinging to a clean. There's just so much you could do with them. Goblet squats. I mean, really, if you only have one kettlebell, you could do so much. And that's the other thing I want to talk about is my workouts are fast. It's like I would say they're anywhere from 20 to, like, 45 minutes, and it's been really working well for me. Look, I'm not looking to be a professional bodybuilder or I'm not looking to be in shows or anything like that. This is just simply about wanting to stay fit at my age, so I don't have time to, mess around.
Man, when I listen to you, it's so refreshing and it should be encouraging because when I ask you these questions, you have this way about you where you're like, yeah, I do strength training, but I don't overdo it. And
Mm,
yeah, I
yeah.
eat clean, but I'm not like obsessing. And yeah, I do
Uh-huh.
cardio, but I enjoy it with my wife and I get my cardio, in my strength training. And yeah, I do core, but I'm kind of doing core anyway when I'm strength training. Your
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
kind of posture towards fitness is like, hey, I'm passionate. I do it, I'm consistent, I work hard,
yeah,
but I'm efficient, I get it done, and to
yeah,
look at you and to hear a guy who's like you're not sitting here saying like, "Oh, I count calories and I have this" you have like an 8-pack and you're shredded and you're 53, and I think that should be encouraged for people to hear because it's like sometimes when you start to, consume people's guidance, it can get
mhm.
overwhelming because 'cause they're like, "Oh,
Oh gosh.
you have to get under a barbell and you have to train for, an hour a day." So to hear that you can achieve and you can flip the switch at 51 and look like you do at 53 with this very, I think, approachable kind of
Mhm,
attitude about it
mhm.
should be
Yeah.
very encouraging for anybody listening.
Well,
Look, life can be hard and stressful sometimes. We all know that. But when it comes to supplements, why is it that nobody talks about stress and resilience? For me, I take the adaptogen stack from Momentous Supplements. It's a daily blend of ashwagandha, rhodiola, and L-theanine, all clinically backed to help you stay calm, focused, and resilient. I'm proudly partnered with Momentous Supplements because they are the industry's best. They don't cut corners, everything's third party tested, used by pro athletes, and high quality. Head to livemomentous.com and use code STRENGTH for 35% off your first order. Again, that's livemomentous.com, code word STRENGTH for 35% off your first order and get started today.
one question I wanted to ask you, Jesse, is, that I had been thinking about, and because I get a lot of people reaching out, it's like, well, you have all the time in the world to work out," and even me, I really I don't as much as you think, 'cause people think that that's all I do, but I'm really actually busy doing so many other things, but with you my 2 daughters are grown, adult daughters, so they don't I'm not taking care of them anymore. But I know with you, Jesse, you have 3 young children.
I
So
do.
how and also you do, other businesses, and how do you do it, man? That's what I'm getting at. Where do
I
you
don't
find
sleep.
the time to get your workouts in,
Yeah,
man?
I don't sleep. No, man, that look, trust me, you're touching on a hot button for me because sometimes I don't feel like I have the hours in the day to do what I need to do, and let's rank those things, right? Like be show up as a husband, and especially show up as a husband, as a teammate for 3 young kids, and they're 7.5, 5.5, 2.5. And my
Yeah.
2.5, it's girl, girl, boy, and that boy is whatever you're thinking of, like a, prototypical 2.5-year-old boy, like breaking stuff, throwing stuff, yelling loud, he's that. So
Yeah.
how do I show up for them? How do I show up for my I mean, as you mentioned, I'm a COO of a community health center, and then, of course, I have this awesome show, so fitness is a priority as well, but, like, to get to your answer, how do I do it?
Yeah.
I've found that, first off, working out is, like, therapeutic for me,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if I don't, all those other things feel harder.
Mm.
So if I try to squeeze my training into the middle of my day, which is jammed,
Yeah.
it just won't happen. And then I'm like tense because I'm trying to get to it and I can't. So
Yeah.
all that to answer your question, I wake up at 5:15. I cold plunge within 10 minutes. It's a whole nother conversation, but
Whoa.
it wakes me up. Like endorphins, it just kind of cracks me out of like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
awake now. And then
Yeah.
I try to hit my training. Like I try to be moving and working out by like, I don't know, 5:40. And then I just give
Wow.
myself an hour and I just fill that hour with whatever my training is. That way it's done. It's like I like to say that I do all my hardest work like before anyone in my family even opens their eyes,
Oh.
but I feel like, strong doing that, and I feel like a provider because what I'm doing is I'm making sure that my training doesn't eat away from the responsibilities that matter the most, which is like my kids are waking up, I'm helping them get on the bus, I'm
Mm.
cleaning up the house, and then I start my work, and then I'm there and I'm supportive to my wife. So I guess the short answer could have been I do it first, I do it early, and unfortunately, Jeff, and I know this is not the best habit, but even if it means I don't sleep as much, and that's
Mm,
something
mm,
that I'm
mm.
starting to like, I'm trying to be disciplined to go to bed by 10 o'clock so that I get
Yeah.
at least 7 hours in bed when that alarm goes off.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty good, but
sometimes I want to spend a little bit more time with my wife, or we unfortunately
yeah.
watch that second episode of whatever show we're
Yeah.
watching
Yeah,
together. So
totally.
I think I
Wow.
sacrifice sleep a little bit, and maybe I shouldn't, but it's all about prioritizing it and then like committing to it. I'm the type of guy that like if I say I'm working out at this time tomorrow, it's gonna take 103 fever for me to not do it. I'm like, I'm
Oh,
doing that shit
yeah.
or else
Yeah.
that I mean, there's nothing I guess so it's I guess a little bit of discipline there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the discipline you need to that's crazy, man. That's awesome. So that's how you do it, everyone.
That's how I do it. We're gonna just move on to kind of
Yeah, yeah.
a final question or two, but I'm gonna do my best to summarize what I and we just learned from you, and then just ask you one more final question around fitness, just like, is there anything else? But so on the fitness side of things, strength training intentionally 4 times a week. Right now, 3 more body part focused, always working in the kettles, getting the core in, and then having a rest day, and then a full body day on the cardio side. Sounds like you're getting kind of multitasking. You're spending quality time with your spouse while
Yeah.
also doing a brisk walk 7 times a week,
Yeah.
and then also relying on your strength training for the cardio side of things. Supplementation seems pretty minimal, nothing crazy. No
No.
TRT peptides, nothing like that. Me neither.
Yeah.
And
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then on the nutrition side, it feels like just well-rounded, healthy whole foods, and you're not counting calories. You're just relying on eating good stuff and kind of
Yeah.
going by your gut. Did I miss anything?
No. That's exactly it, man. It's just, the way God designed us to be is just to eat healthy food and, exercise. We're meant to be workers and move our body,
Amen.
so it's just that simple. That's my philosophy with this whole thing.
Amen. Oh,
Yeah,
I left out an important thing. No alcohol and no
no
weed.
alcohol. No,
Like,
yep, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
man.
yeah, and, I do, take creatine with, protein and water every day. 30 grams of I do supplement a little bit of protein just to push it there, but, so
Yeah,
creatine, protein, but those are and oh, collagen. I'll take some collagen, but other
got
than
it. I
that
heard you say electrolytes. You said before
and
too.
electrolytes. I'll
Probably.
put that in
Yeah.
my water as well with that, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
awesome, man. You heard it. I'm going to link to all your resources. I know you have an app and fitness programs and nutritional guides, it sounds like now. But then I kind of want to pivot to what we touched on earlier. The way I put it was you're not, quote, just about fitness.
no,
You have your faith journey, which is
yeah,
relatively new. You have your sobriety journey, which is
yeah,
relatively new. I know from getting to know you that you're incredibly loyal and committed to being a good husband and a good father. So when you think about these central parts of who you are and what makes Jeff Sutherland who he is, especially Jesus and your relationships and all those things, as you look forward into your kind of online presence and how you're guiding people and how you're inspiring people, what's on your mind? What might change in terms of your message? What are you thinking about? And kind of what's in the future for the Jeff Sutherland that's 53 years young?
yeah. It's exciting. But to be completely honest, I'm not sure where it's going to go. I do know that I want to continue to be better and working on being better. I feel like we all have that in us to be better human beings. I don't know how it'll all incorporate because I don't want to come across like, I'm some preacher dude that's makes people feel like they have to follow my faith journey or anything like that. I want to be careful with that because I still want people that may not believe in God to follow me as long as they're not negative. I don't want negative people on my page anymore. So that's why it's kind of good. People are dropping off and when I do talk about God a little bit, but I don't want it to scare people away because in that way, I still have dreams. We still working towards our dreams. My wife and I my wife's family's from Idaho. Dreams of driving up there and having trips and just having more free time. I could see it going that way. We've talked about, renting our house out and buying a van and getting on the road for a while or
Right.
VRBOing it and doing that and bringing some kettlebells with me. I think it could make some cool content and storytelling there. That would be really cool. But right now we're not there. Right now we're just in the grind, trying to just just keep going and just keep trying to be a good human being. I really have a blessed life, as challenging as it is through social media and doing this. I know he put me in this position. It sounds weird to say he entrusted me in doing this uh, by giving me this following because honestly, when I first started putting videos out on Instagram, I never thought that this amount of people would end up following me. So I really think that was God just like, "Okay, dude, I'm gonna here you go. Do the right thing with this." And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, well, think about how many people start out and create businesses or accounts on social media with the intent of it turning into something that could be, sustainable and providing. And you've done it. And I don't know the statistics, but it's not common. I think and so much of it has
Yeah.
to do with not how you look, Jeff, but like who you are. And I just want to relate with you for a second. And this shows more about you than me, but I'm a Christian. You know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And as a creator as well, I mean, podcasting is creating with
Absolutely.
other people too, with guests. But, I think about it now and then, like, am I saying enough? Am I revealing enough about who I am in my heart and about Jesus? Like there's always that tension
Yeah.
for me because you can't spend time with me without getting to know me and my faith comes out. But I don't necessarily lead with that all the time because I have
Mhm.
this fear that
Yeah.
I could alienate people because the way you put it, it's like I'm not trying to preach, but if your faith is so built into who you are, how can you not share it? But there is that sort of fine line between when all of a sudden do I cross over and become, Jesse, the Christian guy with the podcast, not just like the good guy trying to lead a better life and help people that happens to be a Christian. And I feel like there's that kind of like fine line that you have to
Totally.
kind of
Yeah.
like straddle and I come back to my life verse and it's actually tattooed on my hand here, which
Yeah.
is 2 Timothy 1:7. And I think it's exactly what you and I are like thinking about and maybe even wrestling with. And that verse is, for God did not give us a spirit of fear, or timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Fear and timidity on one side, power
Mm,
and love and self-discipline. So all that to say, now I sound like a preacher here, but it's like if you truly invite God in to be a part of the decisions that you make, then you can't be fearful of where he leads you. And as I
yeah.
talk to you, I just think like if you follow your heart and your faith story becomes part of not just your online story, but your entire story, then you'll be in good hands wherever you land, my friend. That's my
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
that's when you're relatively new Christian like myself, that's where I struggle, you really it's a practice, of really just putting all faith and like, "Oh, please.
Yeah.
Please, I need to make a living," but at the same time, my wife and I will be fine, we'll figure something else out. So I'd rather do the right thing and, you know, uh, start talking what God's done for me in my life. It's only been a good thing.
Yeah. If you get the van, if you go the van route, rent out your house. You
Yeah.
mentioned Idaho. Colorado's not much further. You're gonna swing by
Yeah.
northern
I
Colorado
would
and meet
love
my
to
family?
go. Yeah. Oh, heck
I'd love
yeah.
to have you.
Oh, good to know. Maybe we could park it there for a while.
Let's go. I got a guest room. You can
Yeah.
pop in for a little bit. That'd
Oh,
be
that'd be
cool, man.
amazing, man.
Um, yeah, so final thoughts from you. We'll wrap up, but anything else in terms of finding you, following you, and learning from you, anywhere you want to direct my listeners to engage with you, Jeff?
Yeah, well, you could find me on, Instagram, Midlife Fit Club, YouTube, Midlife Fit Club. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook. You could kinda find me everywhere in all the social media networks. I guess I just would leave with, I think a lot of us have heard this before, a lot of fitness people talk about, mm, excuse me, taking those baby steps towards bettering yourself. Just don't beat yourself up. If we all have our individual pains and hurts. I know I do. But I've learned to, y- you know, feel that pain, but use that pain to be better and change the trajectory of where my hurts come from. And you and I know what my main hurt is. We've talked about that. So I just wish everyone the best. I just want them to know that everything that I'm doing is coming from the goodness of my own heart, and I genuinely wanna help people reach whatever goal they wanna reach, and we all have something special with inside ourselves and that's really it.
Yeah, wise words, man. Well said.
Thank you, man.
Right. Good advice for anyone here. Hey, love to do this again sometime. If you want to come back
Yeah,
in, we can check
I
in.
would. Yeah. Yeah, because 'cause you're awesome, Jesse. That's what you're a good dude, and, so thank you so much for having me. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. Jeff Sutherland, everybody, check him out. Well, that's it for the show this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed and learned from the health and fitness headlines. Looking forward into fall 2025. We got some exciting guests joining the show that we think are going to help you in your pursuit to grow stronger every single week. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back this Monday with more health and fitness headlines, as well as a great guest. So wishing you a good week. Be healthy, be strong, and we will see you next time.